The royal court stood in absolute silence as Sheikh Hamdan rose from his seat, his gaze resting upon the horizon where the sun met the endless dunes of Dubai. The moment was heavy with anticipation, as if the world itself was holding its breath, waiting for the next words to flow from his heart. He had spoken many times before about love, loyalty, faith, and dreams, but today, there was something deeper in his voice, something unguarded. His tone carried not just authority, but tenderness, as if he was about to unveil a truth that would shake even the strongest souls. He began by speaking softly, his voice like the gentle hum of wind over the desert sands. "There comes a time," he said, "when silence speaks louder than the mightiest words, when love is no longer a feeling but a way of breathing." The audience leaned forward, transfixed. He wasn't talking about leadership, nor power, but something far more human. He was talking about the heart, about the invisible threads that tie one soul to another, no matter the distance, no matter the time. His words carried the weight of experience, of battles fought not on the field, but within the chambers of emotion. Fazza paused, his eyes reflecting the golden light that bathed the city. Then, in a voice filled with emotion, he spoke again. "People think a prince is made by his crown, but I have learned, a man is made by his love." The room erupted into quiet gasps. It wasn't the grandeur of his statement that stunned them, it was its honesty. For a royal to speak of love so vulnerably, to confess that even a prince could be molded by emotion, not by title, was something rare. He had turned his heart into a kingdom, and the world was listening. He continued, "The woman who touched my soul did not need to wear jewels. Her words were her diamonds, her silence my peace. When she smiled, I saw the mercy of God. When she wept, I understood the depth of my own humanity." There was no need to name her. His every word painted her presence in the air. It was as if she existed in every breeze, in every echo of his poetry. The listeners felt the weight of his confession, the kind of love that humbles kings, that breaks the walls of pride and replaces them with reverence. "She once asked me," Fazza said with a faint smile, "what I saw in her that I could not find in the world. I told her, I see my peace in your eyes and my purpose in your voice." The crowd was spellbound. They had heard poems before, seen grand gestures of affection, but this was something divine. It was not a declaration, it was worship. His every syllable felt like a prayer whispered to the wind, destined to reach only the one it was meant for. He then looked upward, as if addressing the heavens. "I have seen the world bow to gold," he said, "but I have bowed only to love, and in her love, I found the reflection of my Creator's mercy." The audience fell utterly silent again. There was power in his humility, a rare truth in his devotion. Fazza was not merely speaking as a poet. He was speaking as a man transformed, purified by the fire of emotion, guided by the divine light of affection. "She taught me," he went on, "that love is not possession, but permission to be, to grow, to heal. It is not about chains, but wings." His voice trembled slightly at that, and the world saw a side of Sheikh Hamdan rarely revealed, the vulnerability behind the royal calm. His every word carried centuries of wisdom, echoing through hearts like the call to prayer at dawn. It was not just poetry, it was revelation. Then, he said something that left even his closest confidants speechless. "If one day I am forgotten as a ruler, let me be remembered as the man who loved with sincerity. For crowns fade, but hearts remember forever." The silence that followed was holy. It felt as though the air itself bowed in reverence to his truth. In that instant, Fazza was not a prince, not a poet, he was a soul speaking directly to the universe. He took a deep breath and smiled gently, as if reliving 1,000 memories behind his calm expression. "She was the reason I learned that love does not need to be seen to be eternal," he whispered. "Even if she walks in silence, her essence stays with me, guiding every poem I write." The world realized then that his poems were not merely words, they were footprints of a love that had changed him completely. "She once told me," he continued, "that real love does not end, it transforms. It becomes faith, it becomes strength, it becomes the reason you rise when you have no reason left." His eyes glistened, and for a brief second, even the desert winds seemed to pause in respect. Every listener felt that his voice carried not just poetry, but prayer, an unspoken plea for love to be understood, to be honored, to be eternal. "In the next breath," he said, "the world asked me to choose between duty and desire. I chose neither, I chose truth. For truth is where love and loyalty meet." Those words alone could have been carved into marble. for they held the essence of his entire being. He had lived not for admiration, but for meaning. His love, his poems, his faith, all were woven together in the fabric of his destiny. She did not teach me how to love, he confessed softly. She reminded me that I was created from love, that every heartbeat was already poetry waiting to be spoken. The crowd was moved beyond measure. Some wept quietly, others simply closed their eyes, letting his words wash over them like a gentle wave. He was not merely expressing emotion, he was redefining it, turning human affection into something sacred. And then, as the final rays of sun disappeared behind the skyline, Sheikh Hamdan ended with a line that will echo for generations. Do not seek a love that shines the brightest, seek the love that never dims, even in the dark. With that, he stepped down, leaving behind not just an audience, but a world that would never forget the prince who spoke with the heart of a poet and the soul of a believer. His words lingered in the air long after he was gone, a timeless reminder that love, when spoken with truth, becomes eternal. As the murmurs of awe faded into the soft hum of night, Sheikh Hamdan stood at the edge of the stage, his silhouette framed by the shimmering lights of Dubai. He looked out at the crowd, then back toward the heavens, as if waiting for a sign that his words had reached their rightful place. You see, he finally said, his voice quiet but resolute, love does not belong to poets, it belongs to those who live it without fear. He placed a hand over his heart, as though to calm the storm that still raged within him. His tone was serene, yet the emotion behind it was powerful enough to stir even the stillness of the desert night. Those who listened could sense that his heart was still speaking, long after the applause had faded. He continued, in every poem I have written, there is a secret, her laughter hidden between the lines, her name disguised in metaphors. Love is a unique and divine feeling that touches the soul in ways words can hardly describe. It isn't something you can buy, force, or fake, it's a natural connection that blooms between hearts meant to understand each other. Love teaches patience, kindness, and selflessness. It makes us softer yet stronger, humble yet powerful. It's the one emotion that makes life beautiful even in the midst of pain. When love enters your life, everything starts to glow differently. The world suddenly seems gentler, the days brighter, and the nights warmer. True love doesn't demand perfection, it embraces flaws, forgives mistakes, and celebrates the smallest gestures. It's a bond built not on promises alone, but on understanding, respect, and trust that grows deeper with time. Love is a great blessing from the Almighty, a gift that transforms hearts and heals souls. It teaches us to give without expecting, to hold on without controlling, and to cherish without fear of loss. Those who experience pure love carry a piece of heaven within them, because love, in its purest form, is nothing less